Hello everyone and welcome back to Charlie Talks Football. So in today's video we're just going to be going over some players who Newcastle could bring in the summer, plus some other news regarding the club. So guys, make sure to subscribe as well. We've just hit 450 subscribers, so that is great to see. We've had over 30,000 views on the channel, so that is also fantastic. But anyway guys, let's get into the video. So now the first player we want to talk about is Scott McTominay for Manchester United. Now he played quite regularly when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager, but since Erik ten Hag has came in, he hasn't really played as much. And Newcastle, well, Eddie Howe is set to be an admirer of him, and apparently Newcastle have been looking at McTominay for a while. So I want you guys to comment down below, do you think McTominay would be a good signing? And I want to ask you, do you think...
I think he's got a lot of ability, and he's when he plays for Man United, he tends to do well, doesn't he? He's a sort of what I would call a central defensive midfielder. He's a ball player, so he likes to keep possession, breaks play up, gets about the pitch. He's sort of similar to Longstaff, isn't he?
Yeah,
like
apparently Eddie Howe views him as a perfect player to slot into that midfield. Yeah. But I also want you guys to comment down below, do you think we should go for better players out there? Because some people may say, oh, we've got all this money, why we're going for McTominay? But he is Premier League experience, he's played in the Premier League for a while now, so he does have that experience, and apparently Eddie Howe has admired him for a while now. Apparently we did inquire for him in January, but Manchester United, well, Erik ten Hag didn't want to let him go, and he could be available in the summer for around 30 million, so it would be a decent
it's a lot of money. I think he'd be a good signing, but it's a lot of money.
No, I don't think that's a lot of money in today's market with all the prices players have been going for. I think that's actually not too bad. So I want you guys to comment down below, what would you think if we signed him? I think it would be a decent signing. I suppose he works hard, and he has lots of Premier League experience.
Can I just ask you, Charlie, because there's some you mentioned it was before that Manchester City are interested in Bruno, and that there's a possible swap deal that Manchester City might propose to Newcastle in the summer, and that's paying us money for Bruno,
80
but
million
also
plus Calvin Phillips.
Plus Calvin Phillips. What would you think of that? Obviously, you don't want to lose
now,
Bruno.
Obviously, I'm sure the club would reject that, because I'm sure they would want, not only do they want to keep Bruno, but I'm sure they would want over 100 million to even consider it, because I'm sure they'll be looking and thinking, what the prices players are going for now. Declan Rice, potentially he could go for over 100 million. So they'll obviously want a lot more than that. But in terms of Calvin Phillips, I mean,
he was great for Leeds, but he hasn't played much for Man City, which we knew would happen, didn't we?
I always knew he'd made a mistake in joining Man City, and since then Pep Guardiola said he's overweight, that's why he can't play. So I wouldn't want him anyway. But I don't think this will happen. Of course, Manchester City probably are interested in Bruno, and lots of clubs will be interested in Bruno.
I think Real Madrid are as well.
Yeah, and Barcelona, but if Man City came in, I'm sure we would reject it, because...
And I think one positive thing is that Bruno loves the city, he loves the fans,
and
I think
he said he wants to be a Newcastle
legend,
legend,
to be a part of it, and
he
understands the project. He can see the vision for where we're going, and he wants to be a part of that. He came at a time when we were fighting relegation, didn't he? So he's committed.
And it's a risk, because we could have got relegated. So it's a risk for him to take.
But I mean, it was great to see him. He was playing football, wasn't he, with some Down syndrome kids today. Or yesterday, I think it was. But he's on holiday at the minute in the Maldives. But that was great to see them engaging with people and motivating, and it would be real lovely to be an experience to play with Bruno.
his English has improved a lot since he's came
yeah.
over here, because when he first came in, he could, hardly speak any English. And I've definitely noticed when I've been watching some of the interviews he's been doing, his English has definitely improved. So that is great to see. Now, the next player we want to talk about is Kieran Tierney.
Ooh, left back.
Now, we've been linked to him a lot. There's been a lot of stuff popping up saying we want him. Now, it does seem like in this summer, Newcastle will look for a left back because, as we know, Dan Burn's not a left back, and we've got Target, but I think we definitely do need to improve on that role.
Yeah.
Now, Tierney's an interesting one because a couple of years ago, he was playing regularly for Arsenal, and then they brought in Zinchenko from Manchester City, and ever since they've brought him in, he hasn't really played as much, has he?
I think Tierney's a really good player, and he would be good signing. What it might do is, as well, is, Dan Burn's been doing a great job at left back, but I don't think he's the long-term player to play in that position. And I think that might free him up to go back to centre half. I know Shaw and Botman have created a great partnership, and there's Lascelles as well. But that might free up Burn to cover that centre half position. And yes, Target's done very well for it, but I think we do need someone else, and I think Tierney would be perfect.
Yeah, he would be a brilliant deal. I mean, there's talk of Arsenal accepting 25 million, which for me is a bargain because he's played regularly for Arsenal,
and he gets
over
forward, doesn't
the
he?
past few years. He's a good defender. That would be a really good signing. But some people say, oh, what does that mean for Dan Burn? But of course, I'm sure he'll still get used as well. But I think this transfer is very likely to happen based off all of the information that I've got. Was seeming to be, he's just the player who was seem to be, keep on being linked to.
And can I ask you, Charlie, about one that would be a massive signing for Newcastle United, because the former Napoli sporting director came out last week and said that Newcastle are in the race to sign Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
Now, I saw Osimhen play a few seasons ago, and he looked really good, but he looked like he still had a lot to improve on. Now, I watched him play for Napoli twice in the last 2 weeks, and he has developed so much. He's phenomenal. His attitude, his work rate off the ball.
I think he scored, played 25 matches and scored 21 goals.
Would he come to Newcastle and lead a team that's going to win the Italian league?
Because,
and
like
be
I
in the
said,
Champions League,
no disrespect to Napoli, but once you've sort of done that, you will look to move on. He said many times in interviews he's done, my dream is to play in the Premier League. So he will play I'm 100% sure he'll play in the Premier League at some point. It's just whether he plays for Newcastle or Man United.
I definitely think Newcastle are looking for a world-class forward to go alongside Isaac. And Wilson, I think, will still stay at Newcastle unless we bring in someone really phenomenal. But I do think he'll stay at Newcastle. But we do need to go at the next level to bring in a world-class centre-forward.
And again, we would break our transfer record by loads. I mean, again, the price, are we willing to actually pay 130 million, even 150? Are the club willing to pay that, or do they think, we could go for someone who could get us more value for money?
But he would be phenomenal signing,
of course.
Fingers crossed on that.
Bringing more revenue for the club as well, because I'm sure a lot of people would get him on the...
Personally, I don't think it'll happen. I would love it to, but I don't think it's realistic. But you never know.
I also want you guys to comment, what club do you think Osimhen will go to? Now, I think Man United or Chelsea is the most likely option.
To Real Madrid
I
or somewhere like that.
don't think they're really interested in him. Right. I think from what I've seen, it's more Man United, Chelsea, PSG, and that seems to be it for now. But
another player we're being linked to, I want to ask you about, Charlie, is Mason Mount. Would you like to see him at Newcastle?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like Fabrizio Romano, I was just watching a video of him and he was doing an interview and he said, Mason Mount is a huge opportunity on the market. his contract talks have stalled with Chelsea, and it looks increasingly likely that he's going to leave. He's changed agents as well.
Right.
So does this mean that he is going to move as well? And it is quite strange because Chelsea is his boyhood club, but I think at Chelsea at the minute there's like a revolution going on there. So many players coming in. I'm sure there'll be lots of players coming out as well that I think Liverpool and Man United are also interested. But I mean, getting him on a free, what a
that would be
a
coup, wouldn't it?
Of course, it depends how much money he would ask for. I'm sure he would ask for a lot of money, but
I want to ask you as well about a transfer that I think will happen is a high possibility of happening, which is really exciting for Newcastle. It will make a massive difference to the team, and we've been linked with him loads, and that's James Maddison. He would be perfect.
The thing is, I think sort of we had bids rejected for him in the summer, guys, and then sort of we were linked with him again in January and nothing really happened. And then, to be honest, the links to him have sort of cooled down, and I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Oh, I think it will.
I think there's a chance, but I'm just not sure. I'm leaning towards, I think Diaby will happen. I think we will sign.
That would be great.
Moussa Diaby. Arsenal are interested in him. We've always been linked with him, and I think we will sign a winger as well, another winger, because of course I think we need sort of a younger winger. I know we've got Gordon, but I think we sort of need something else. And Diaby, he's just incredible. I mean,
he's so amazing,
so quick. I mean, Leverkusen aren't even doing well at the moment, and he's still doing well,
scoring goals,
which shows
and getting assists.
how much of a quality player he is. So I think that could happen, but the reason why I don't think Maddison will happen is just because I think just because the links have cooled down a bit, and I think obviously there might be clubs which may offer him a lot more money than Newcastle, because his contract expiring in the summer, so he can leave on a free and sign for whoever club he wants. And I just think that other clubs might be able to offer more money. Of course, Newcastle can offer money, but it's just whether we are willing to break our wage structure to do this. So that's why I'm not too sure. But I also want to say, guys, it is Matty Longstaff's birthday today. So happy birthday to him.
Matty. Still recovering from injury.
I mean, I hope a lot of people are saying, we hope he can contribute in the first team in the future, and I really hope he can. But to be honest, I'm not.
It's going to be difficult for him. I think he's went out on loan to teams.
I remember that game against Man United where he scored, and he was blooming being linked with big clubs like that as well. So
hopefully he can recover from his injury and get back to playing.
And hopefully Newcastle can get the 3 points, because we play Manchester United at home next, and I mean, what a game that is. I don't
got to get them back for
I don't really have to say more about that. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Make sure to subscribe. Let's try and get to 500 subscribers before the end of April. So
give us a like if you like this video, and also remember, in the comments, let us know which players you think Newcastle should sign or leave. We'll love reading your comments. Love to see your comments.
And also shout out to Reese as well. He's one of my friends from my school. And shout out to Jack as well.
Hi, Jack.
Glad to see you guys are enjoying the channel. But anyway, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.